Good afternoon. Welcome back to St Mary's, Perivale, on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. And we're in for a treat today because we have a piano duet concert. We don't have many of these, but they're always most enjoyable. It's a very difficult art, playing piano duets. People think it's easy. It's incredibly hard to play well, and we've got a wonderful pair this afternoon. Imma Setiadi and Nigel Clayton both teach at the Royal College, and they're a fantastic duo, and they're playing gorgeous music all afternoon, including the Fauré Dolly suite, which you heard as an introduction if you were watching about 3 minutes ago. So you're in for a real treat this afternoon. You can read about our two wonderful pianists on our website, and it's a gorgeous music all afternoon, just appropriate for a sunny afternoon when spring is round the corner. I'm going to get off the stage now and lie back and enjoy a wonderful concert.
In my rehearsal for speaking in this concert, I started off by saying, "Good evening, so nice to see you." Well, both of those were wrong. It was good afternoon, and I can't see you at all. But I sense your presence, I hope. And I hope that we've got a nice, varied program for you, which doesn't have an absolute theme going through it, but it does have a few connections en route. And we begin with the best, or possibly the best of all possible worlds that we're looking forward to in the near future, from Candide by Bernstein, and we end up with the Easter bells of Rachmaninov, looking forward to Easter, which is approaching now. The year seems to, in spite of being in this situation we're in, the year seems to march on quite quickly, so it's lovely to see the spring things coming into life and giving us some hope. Bernstein, I must say, as a choir boy, I met Bernstein and had a rehearsal with him, just a group of 12 of us, had a personal rehearsal when we were doing Stravinsky Les Noces. So I treasure that memory. I don't think I realized fully what a huge name he was at the time and has become as an educator and musician generally over the years. But he had a huge success with West Side Story, but actually he had not such a great success with Candide. But one of the pieces that did survive very popularly was the Overture to Candide. And that's the piece we're going to start the program with in this arrangement. one of the small collections that we do have is that the next piece is based on Brahms' Lullaby, which was written by Brahms, yes, but was performed with Clara Schumann at the piano. And later on, there's another connection with the Mendelssohn and Clara Schumann, so that's a little thread which we're quite proud of. And to say that this particular arrangement by Greg Anderson, and well, it's by Greg Anderson. He's a duo partnership with Elizabeth Rowe, Anderson and Rowe, they're known as, but he's done a number of really attractive arrangements, and this is a good take on the Brahms Lullaby. It's almost like a music box effect throughout, but very effective and very calming. Schubert was one of those miraculous composers who lived a very short life, but wrote an enormous amount in just 31 years, dying only 1 year later than Beethoven, his absolute idol in a way. And it interested me and Imma as well when we discovered that quite a well-known piano duet team over the end of the 20th century and into the 21st century, Goldstone and Clemo and Goldstone recorded all of Schubert's music. And yes, we thought, mostly duet music is like an extra thing that people write, and there's a few pieces by various people for duets. And we thought the same of Schubert. There's the Fantasy in F minor. And then investigating that, they discovered that there were 7 full CDs recorded of his duet music. That's full length, 75-minute CDs, 7 of them, apart from everything else he wrote. So our contribution is just small, but it's a really lovely, bouncy little characteristic march, which is completely uncharacteristic because it's in 6/8 and bounces along more like a sort of Irish jig. That follows quite nicely into the Mendelssohn we're about to play. It begins with a slow section, very typically Mendelssohnian, lovely melodies. I always think that of all tunes in the history of music, one of the most beautiful, it's difficult to say that, but one of the most beautiful is the slow movement of the violin concerto, which seems to just go on and on and on. And this has the elements of that, the opening of this. But rather interestingly, it begins very much not like a duet. It begins with me playing, and then Imma plays, and then I play, and then Imma plays, and it's kind of crossing over each other in a slightly awkward angle and so on. But actually, it's interesting that he wrote it for a concert specifically in which he was duetting with Clara Schumann. And in this particular concert, it was a kind of first one-off because it was just after Clara had married Robert Schumann. It was the first time that they were appearing together in a concert, but the opening item was this duet with Mendelssohn. So it's really nice to hear how composers knew each other and got on with each other. And I think Mendelssohn, who was senior, of course, to Clara, was helping her career, the career of a wonderful, promising, not only pianist, actually, as we know now, and composer. The rondo after it is so many notes. And one thinks of that comment of Mozart about his opera saying, just too many notes. Well, I don't think it's too many, but it is an awful lot. And just typical of, I suppose one could quote Midsummer Night's Dream, but also the trio from the D minor piano trio, the third movement of that. I think of that when we play the rondo of this. So I hope you'll enjoy this lovely romantic Mendelssohn.
It just came to mind that Mendelssohn Mendelssohn had quite a lot of affiliation to the Great Britain. Actually, apparently, I think he visited England or Great Britain 10 times and met and performed for the Queen. That's quite impressive. And also had dinner with Charles Dickens, and of course, two of his symphonies, the Scottish Symphony and the Hebrides Overture, were inspired by Scotland, so it's very English, Mendelssohn, in many ways. Following that, we will be playing Fauré, Dolly Suite for you. Fauré Dolly Suite was actually a birthday present for Fauré's daughter, Regina Alland. The Berceuse, the first one, some of you might be familiar with this program called Listen with Mother? Listen with Mother, that becomes the signature tune. This Dolly Suite started off as a birthday present and then also to mark other special life events of Fauré's daughter. The second one is Meow, actually has nothing to do with cat. It's actually Dolly, the affectionate name of Fauré's daughter. Dolly's attempt to pronounce her brother's name. Instead of Raoul, it sounds like Meow, but the publisher thought if it has something to do with cats, that probably will sell better. And then following that is the garden, Dolly's garden is a New Year's present for Dolly. And then following that is Kitty Waltz, again, nothing to do with cat. It's actually Catty, the household, the dog that they have in their house, waggling its tails. And then following that is the tender movement called the tenderness, and finish off with Le Pas Espagnol, the Spanish dance, which was dedicated to Fauré's friend Emmanuel Sabrier.
finishing the program with 3 pieces by Rachmaninov which are not connected at all, except that they're for piano duet. The first is another wonderful arrangement by Greg Anderson of the Vocalise, which was the last of a set of 14 songs that he wrote without words. And so it's been the subject of many transcriptions for almost all instruments. But I think in this particular version, he uses it has some influence of the Godowsky transcription of the Vocalise in this further transcription by him in piano duet version. And then following that is an Italian polka, which I think has an interesting story. Sorry.
If I'm not mistaken, it was because when Rachmaninov visited Italy, he heard this street organ, and then he really liked this tune, and he remembered it, he wrote it down, and as soon as he went back to Russia, he composed something. And the version that we are playing for you is for piano duet, and I think there is an additional part for trumpet.
Yes, that's true. It's a tiny fragment.
And then to finish up the program is from Rachmaninov Opus 11, Slava, which means glory. We really can hear the Easter bells throughout this movement, which probably was also inspired by Russian old, folk tune, and that's really spurs us into the hope for a better future and spring and Easter, which is just around the corner.
I've just been informed by our brilliant duettists that they have an encore. We don't usually have an encore, but it seems a bit pathetic to refuse after that stunning recital. So do you want to come and say what your encore is? We should have had great cheering at the end, but... You announce your encore.
I must say a very big thank you to Hugh. When I watched Murray McLaughlin's speech, and he thanked Hugh for all he does, it is amazing. People like Hugh keeping music alive and providing a venue like this for performers constantly through the year is remarkable, and more the merrier of that kind of thing. Thank you so much, Hugh. Thank you. And we'd like to finish with something kind of appropriate for Easter approaching after the Easter bells of Rachmaninov, an arrangement of Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring, Bach, from the cantata, from one of his cantatas, and it's in the version by Myra Hess. But it's not clear whether Myra Hess made this duet version of her own version or whether someone else did. But on the copy, which is a fairly old copy in Discovery, actually, it just says her name on the top. So we're assuming that she actually did sanction this particular arrangement of her own arrangement of Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring.
Well, that rounded off a very special afternoon, I think. Absolutely gorgeous music throughout, played quite brilliantly by this wonderful duet pair. And I think you've got to be a pianist to know how difficult playing duets is. It always looks easy. It's incredibly hard to play like they play. Absolutely wonderful and gorgeous music and life-enhancing, and ending up with Jesu Joy. Been a special afternoon. So if you've enjoyed it too, you know what to do. Go to our PayPal facility. Please give generously. This is our 93rd or 94th concert in the lockdown in an empty church. We hope to have a full church later in the year, but for the moment it's empty, but we'll complete our century of 100 concerts in an empty church in mid-March, and so it goes on. Thank you very much indeed for your support. We couldn't do it without you. Tell your friends, spread the word. Lots more concerts coming up, 3 a week. And on Tuesday, the next one is on Tuesday, where we have Florian Mitria, wonderful pianist, giving us super recital of Beethoven, Chopin and Liszt. He plays wonderfully well. That's on Tuesday. Thank you very much for your support, and good afternoon.